So, another trip down memory lane. I am not doing these because I want, poor me or anything like that. I'm doing this because I know what it takes to heal. You cannot heal without feeling. And all of my life, most of my life, except for when I've been alone on my journey, I was not allowed to feel. From the time I was a child, I was this, my mom, a pill popper, big time. And over 20 different pills when she died, but in the box next to her bed, there were over 100 different pills, not just 100 bottles of the same pill, no. All right, so I grew up believing that I needed pills, as, you just have this invisible illness, and, you're so beautiful and brilliant, but, all geniuses need this drug. But, see, the only time I really needed drugs is if I actually felt an emotion, or said no to something. I was locked in closets. Yeah, if I felt or said no, you just don't do that. So that's why I was the perfect, child. I didn't sneak out, I didn't lie, I didn't steal, I got straight A's, I did every single thing my mom wanted me to do or to be. I achieved at every single thing she wanted me to do. So from dance to stage to writing to sports, every single sport, to music, violin, flute, piano, composition. I was a composer. I've had my plays performed. I've had my music performed. I've performed my music in pretty big, venues. Blah, blah, blah. So all that was great, fine and dandy, I'm this perfect little trophy. But things changed when I was a teenager, and I've been trying to figure out what it was that changed. And yeah, I had my injuries, and when I wasn't that perfect little play toy, I was shown zero anything. Like, before it was just illusory love because I, was the trophy or the one that made her look good. But yeah. So when I quit all the stuff that she wanted me to do, and really, I thought, and I know this is part of it, because there was a time in my life where I begged God or whoever to take away my gifts. Why? Why did I quit my music? Why did I quit performing? Why did I quit entertaining? Because I was tired of being an object, and that's all I was. Not just at home, but every subsequent dude I dated. But my mom she set me up with my fiancés. And, I was property. And if you saw, well, I'll show more. But it's just, it's just accepted. That's what I'm supposed to be. So, of course, you never are able to express, because you're just supposed to look pretty. Yeah, so I am sitting in front of the house that I was gang raped at. Gang raped by people that I thought were my friends. This house is right next to the person that I thought was my best friend. Of course, she, again, she was another person that promoted, my mother's, I was just this horrible demon child abusing her for no reason. Even as a child then, there was nobody that I could express or share anything to because they wouldn't believe it. And, I'm just this overachiever and just, go take a pill. I mean, pills are really, 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 really promoted then. And, even today, people think that that's the solution to everything. So, I was a virgin at the time. And this was between my junior and senior year. It was after my knee injury and, dealing with, oh my God, I might lose all my scholarships, and oh, my mom already hates me, and, I have nothing to offer anymore other than my car. So I thought about that, and this person I thought was my best friend all these years. I mean, I was only her friend because, well, not really, but she was my pretend friend because I made her look good and I drove everyone everywhere, always. So yeah, these people I thought were my friends, and, Donnie Edwards, yeah, the football player, he was dating one of my very good friends, Heather. We went to girls' league dances together. He's in my home, even then. We were the crew, right? So I was gang raped here. I was discovered by Elizabeth, aka Buffy. And, she drugged me out of there and said, "What the hell are you guys doing?" and blah, 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 and stuff like that. But when it came down to saying, talking to her and like, "Okay, will you testify?" Oh, no, I could never testify against my friends, and, no way. Okay, and they were all, famous football players, and you may have heard me mention before, I went to a school where we have an extremely high rate of famous and professional multimillionaires and stuff, on people you watch on TV every day. It's not an accident. So, obviously, I was threatened by pretty much everyone, completely ostracized. Then I was just a mentally ill slut troublemaker. Yeah. Even to my mother. Yeah, I'm just a slut, whatever. And, I had never willingly had sex at the time. Shortly after that, I was raped and pregnant. But it was really weird because, so the weekend that this happened, one of our friends also died. Larry, Ariza. And I was in summer school at the time, and so went to school on Monday, and of course I'm crying and, trying to process what had just happened, and I didn't even know, and yeah, I drank, but I'll go deeper into this story in a minute. Shit. Well, I might as well now, because I'm just gonna keep losing track, but, okay, so yeah, I've never talked about this publicly, so... Okay, in 2001, I came to San Diego, met up with some of my high school friends, and then he's like, "Hey, this one dude, Nick, would like to see you." Nick, that Nick? Yeah. Fuck. Whatever. Okay, fine. He was one of the people involved in the gang rape. Oh, it's getting so hot in here. Maybe this will help. Okay, so he apologized to me then. He told me every single thing that happened, and it was not random. Yes, I was drugged, and it was actually freaking pre-planned. Okay, so in this party, they told everybody they were going to the store. "Hey, does anyone need anything? We're gonna go to the store." I had already, drank too much, wanted to lie down, and I don't even know what happened. I didn't know anything, really. So I'm in this other room and, taken care of and safe, and whatever it is, off. So, of course, I found out, 11, 12, 13 years later, what it was, and I was, in fact, drugged. They put me in that other room. The perpetrators went out the front door, made everyone think they were leaving, went right through the backyard and into the window of the room I was in, and nobody knew that was going on until Buffy walked in. The school, getting back to that. So I was threatened by the coaches, principals, and cops. I didn't know that, he's going to be at $12 million a year, whatever this... I didn't know what we were involved in at the time. And there's a lot surrounding it, and I'm going to share it all. I'm telling freaking all, okay? Because since I can't have a house and, you know, be able to sit still long enough to write a book, I'm just going to have to tell it. Yeah. All right, so, yeah. When this happened, of course, they're all famous and great. And see, at the time I was too. I was in the paper every single day, but, you know, I started kind of rebelling. I was, well, I'll go into that later. Still the good child, but still didn't want to be whatever. So, of course, that's around the time my mom started drugging me. However, before that, it was childhood shit. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so around 12 years old or whatever, I'm like fainting all the time and have asthma so bad and in and out of the emergency room all the time, steroid shots, pills, theophylline, this and that. Then it comes out it causes depression. So then I get raped and I'm depressed, so my mom has to give me a pill. And then what was the pill they gave next? I can't remember what they gave next, but I don't know if it was Prozac or before Prozac, but then, you know, that caused problems. Then it was drug after drug after drug after drug, and in and out of the hospitals all the time, and my mom convincing me I have some invisible illness because I wanted to cry and express the pain and frustration and abandonment and betrayal of being raped, gang raped by your fucking friends. And your best friend and everybody turning against you because, you know, they're heroes. I'm just a dumb slut. And if you've been raped, and chances are you have, because most frickin' people have in this disgusting world, and we are not allowed to talk about it. You know, we are victimized again. Like when my daughter was raped and sodomized, what did they do to her? Well, first they scrutinized me, you know, I must be a bad mom and a child abuser. And then they re-rape her and re-sodomize her by sticking cameras up her pee-pee and her freaking bum-bum. Yeah. Yeah. There's no actual help for victims at all. I mean, after a while, we got tired of going to play therapy. I mean, nothing was actually happening. So, you know, we get left to deal with that. Unresolved trauma, not allowed to deal with it. I'm a single mother at the time. I got to work my $2 frickin' an hour job. You know, in this life, we really don't have time to grieve, or we think we don't have time to grieve. And that's the problem. I want to grieve, and I want to get this shit out of me. But yeah, so that's where I was raped. One of the, you know, so Donnie, Chris, Eddie, Nick, and Neveitte, the one who lived in the house. Yeah, so I hardly went to school my senior year. I didn't really get busted for it, though, either. Why? The principal was the coach, and they're propping up all these people, and of course they're trying to appease me, keep me silent, and make me feel like I'm crazy and have to go keep taking drugs. Let me tell you something, drugs are not the answer, and when you take those drugs, and especially if you're gonna drink or do something else, I'm talking like antidepressants and all drugs, even asthma medicine, okay? Yeah, even steroids, even painkillers, even muscle relaxers. But yeah, I'm talking about antidepressants and all this shit they were pumping through me instead of just fucking talking to me or letting me express without being locked in a fucking closet. Okay? Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, it's funny because then when my mom was, you know, doing all that, she'd take us to counseling. And then the counselor, of course, would want to see all three of us. And then, you know, she totally wasn't into that. But, you know, they told her point blank, and nothing's going to happen. You need to be here. And clearly there's some issues and conflicts and resolution, and, you know, you need to be here if you want to heal. And, oh no, nothing wrong with me, just them. But then, of course, after I was raped, and, you know, then it was just me, and I wasn't her little play toy anymore. I was this bitch that had to be destroyed because I guess I let her down. So not only, you know, I always wonder, why did I give up my music, and why did I give up my talent, and how did I let myself be convinced that I had no artistic ability, that I had no talent, that I had no anything? Yeah, mama drama trauma, abandoned daddy, you know, issues, you know, all of that stuff, but also reflected, you know, everywhere. Every single time I got fucked, they're heroes. I'm just a slut. And to this day, it happens to everyone, whether they're heroes or not. So yeah, I'm here. And you know what? I don't really care. Like, I'm not, like, crying over it, but I do need to express it and talk about it. And I think there's something wrong in this world where people like that become childhood heroes and role models on military bases, even though they had allegedly no open affiliation with the Navy, military. Oops, did something slip out? Yeah, ONI and different projects. I'll tell you this, you know, all these people you see on TV, it is no accident. We were groomed, okay? Yeah, and I know I'm not Project Scamelot or all these other fucking people with these wild stories and, you know, yeah, they're good stories and most of them are accurate, but you know what? If you were actually a victim of fucking mind control and all of these projects, you do not remember all the details. Stop fucking lying and making shit up and trying to spin people off into La La Land. The reason I don't tell the whole story is because I don't know it. I do know that the school was involved with these military projects. I do know that. I do know all of these stars, including, you know, what I was groomed to be, myself and other people. We were all transferred out of district. Wasn't a coincidence. I'm just going to leave it at that. This is where I was raped. This is where my innocence was lost. This is where I learned, well, one of the places that I learned I could never trust a best friend. I could never trust even my other friends. I could never trust people I do anything for. They're just going to turn it, you know, fucking abuse the fuck out of me and turn it around on me. And I know there's other people like me. This isn't just a sad Christie tale. And for those of you who know about astrology or don't know about astrology, even better, if you are a mutable sign, especially Virgo Pisces like me, or even a Gemini Sag, and my moon's in Sag, I'm all mutable, by the way. Mutable people are always projected upon by the cardinal and the fixed signs. It's just the way it is. It's not because it's our negative thinking, it's just because you think that we're easy, we're more fluid, we're more changeable, so you try to impose your changes, your fixes upon us. So for those of you like wondering how come, you know, everyone's trying to control me or this and that, no, it's not your thoughts, no, it's not, you know, there's actually more at work going on here, especially if you were a child born into a family that were forced into things. Project, stardom. I ran away from this shit. I didn't want it. I never wanted to be on stage. In fact, I mean, I've expressed before about how it just always made me uncomfortable because the Vipers, they were always looking at me like a fucking piece of meat, wanted my 16-year-old titty. And, you know, sorry, but my mom, you know, pushing me into finishing school and modeling school and dressing me like that and taking those pictures at fucking 14 years old and telling me to look sexy and blah, 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 blah. That's wrong. Because I grew up my whole life thinking I was never good enough. And if you guys are watching TV and magazines and, you know, putting on your makeup every day and this and that, those are all reflections of you not being good enough. So we all have it, you know, nothing wrong with it, we just have to face it, and I'm getting better and better and better at it. Speaking of not being good enough, when my mom died, dude, she still had to put fucking makeup on. Here she is railing on our cousin Honey and everyone else. Oh, she'd have all these facelifts and always put on makeup, she would never let it, oh my gosh, that is so gaudy, that's so blah 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 blah. Anyways, where is the accountability? Why is it that Donnie Edwards, Mario Lopez, just to name a couple rapists, in the public eye, role models, writing children's book, you know, blah, 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 and making you think that you can do anything, which is not true. You have to be part of the system if you want to be one of those stars. There are people way, way, way better, way, way, way more talented, way more everything than what you're allowed to see. Why don't you see them? Incorruptible spirits. They are unconquerable. They do not sell their soul. So then we disappear into oblivion. Now we're scummy, druggy, prostitute, homeless, druggy losers. Which, none of that true. I've never been a fucking prostitute. I've never been a fucking druggie, other than drugs that were forced upon me all throughout my childhood. It's taken a long time to detox, and if you're on those drugs and you think you need those drugs, dude, you're already lost. You need to get off them immediately, and if you need help, go to Dr. Peter Bregan, bregan.com, or empathictherapy.org. You don't need drugs, you need love. That's it. You need someone to listen, to hear you, to validate your experiences, and know that you can trust someone and feel safe and have one person to rely on. You know, we can't all afford therapy, right? And if you've gone through the system and they're free, there's no such thing. Therapy is us. We have to help our fucking friends stop trading them for TV shows and fucking bars and, you know, all of these distractions and football games and really? Yeah. You people doing that, you're on drugs, aren't you? That's why you're not there for other people, because they erase your empathy, they erase your compassion. That is fact. Even mainstream news has put out that over 600 medications that they've admitted to, including things like Tylenol, reduce a human's ability to feel. That's why you fear me and other people who do feel. That's why you hate it. We don't say anything different than you've ever felt or experienced. You just don't want to see it. So you expect everyone else to fucking medicate it or stuff it or sweep it under the rug. Let it go. What does it mean? Drink more? Eat more? Gamble more? Slut more? Drug more? Pill more? No, letting it go means expressing it, getting it out of you so it has no power over you any longer, and that is my intention here. That doesn't mean I'll stop talking about it in hopes of helping other women and men and letting them know that they're not alone, and especially people that have been raped by high-profile motherfuckers that think it's okay to discard humans in this form. Why do I have so many stalkers? Really? You think it's random? You think it's just a coincidence? Really? Think about it. Alright, so you know what? Donnie Edwards raped me. Yeah. And you watch, you know, you worship these people and his fucking wife and, you know, Barbie doll. And you know the funny thing is, Heather and myself, I don't know what she's doing, but if I would have stayed in that world, I would have looked just fucking like her. Land of plastic, land of illusion. That's what I was taught was beauty. That's what I was taught was acceptable. If I wasn't that, I was a fucking piece of shit. Well, guess what? I am a piece of shit, and I love it. My shit smells good because I have a clear, clean conscience. People I felt I have had to make reparations or amends with, I have attempted. I cannot be responsible for people who do not want to reciprocate. And I'm not going to feel guilty or be blamed or shamed, okay? And especially you fucking New Age community. Oh, it's all your thoughts bringing this about. No, it's actual fact. It's actual reality. And if you stepped outside your computer screen and lived a real life, you might experience a little bit of reality too, instead of oming it or pilling it or even drinking it away. You can't ohm away trauma. Get it out. And, you know, me giving up the music and all of that stuff, that was my expression. I was an incredible composer. People would sit and listen to me for hours because that was my expression, to get it out. But that was thwarted when I was put on all of these fucking psychotropics and mind-controlling drugs. So if you are out there and you're wondering where all your talents went and your creative ability went, look there. Get off the drugs. It's going to take a long time to detox, but it's worth it. You will get your heart back. You will get your soul back. You will get your purpose back. You will get your talents back, and you will discover ones that you never thought you had. Hey, so actually, I would also like to know this, rapists, you know, do you ever think about your victims, or especially people in the public eye? I mean, you have to be scared, right? Oh, what if everybody comes and tells on me, or, you know, do you ever think about that? Do you ever think about making amends or reparations with the people you have harmed? Ever? I don't know. I do. Like, one dude, I broke up with him for no reason a few times, and, you know, in retrospect, I believe that that was emotional abuse, and I was acting out the fact that I wasn't loved, and maybe I wanted to see if he really loved me, or if he would be there, or maybe I wanted to push him away because that's all I knew. You know, I don't really know, but I wanted to apologize because I felt that that was emotional abuse and clean my conscience, and I was told, oh, that's nothing to apologize for, but it is. I think it is. I mean, that's how I live my life. If I feel I've harmed someone, I try to rectify it. What about you rapists? Donnie, do you think of me? What do you think of when you hear the name Christie Tchaikovsky? Do you ever feel like you want to apologize? Or what about the rest of you? Oh, yes, I was talking about school. I went into school Monday and our friend Larry Ariza had just died. And there I was crying. And of course, one of the rapists is sitting right next to me. And so they had counselors on the school site because of the death of our friend, which technically at that time I didn't even actually know. But they assumed that that's why I was crying and grieving. So they sent me to get, you know, like whatever, high school counseling, you know, grieving for our dead friend. But yeah, I'm like, no, you know, yeah, I miss him and that really sucks. I honestly didn't know. I'm grieving because I was raped. Oh, well, you know, blah, 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 blah. I was always told to stuff it, even by my so-called high school best friend. If I didn't stuff it, then I had to be avoided and shunned. And so I want to ask a question. I asked it the other day in the video. When is a child not allowed to feel anymore? When is a child? What is that age? Where, oh, nope, stuff it, bitch, take a pill. When is that age where the compassion is cut off? Was I too old to receive support at 16? Was I too old to receive support at 14? Was I too old to receive support at 8? I don't know. Why? Why do we pretend to have compassion for people who go through these things? But